Have you ever seen something that just didn't feel right? That little gut feeling that tells you to pay attention. For 12-year-old Maya, that feeling saved a life. Let us dive into one of the most chilling and heroic stories you lines hear all year. It was a completely ordinary afternoon. Maya was walking home from school, taking her usual route, a path she'd walked hundreds of times before. She passed by that one house, the one everyone in the neighborhood knew was abandoned. It was a bit creepy, with peeling paint and an overgrown yard, the kind of place kids dare each other to go near. But on this particular day, something was different. A small splash of color caught her eye. Stuck to the inside of a grimy window was a bright yellow sticky note. Curiosity got the better of her. She stepped closer, squinting to read the messy handwriting scrawled on it. Just 2 words, but they sent a shiver down her spine. Help me. Her first thought, it had to be a prank. It was probably just some kids from school trying to be funny, playing a joke on anyone who walked by. She almost laughed it off and continued on her way home. It's what most of us would have done, right? But something held her back. That little voice in her head, that nagging feeling. She scanned the area around the house, her heart starting to beat a little faster, and that's when she saw it. Lying on the ground near the bushes, almost hidden by overgrown weeds, was another yellow sticky note. It looked like it had been thrown from the window. She hesitated for a second, then cautiously picked it up. This one had more words, written in the same frantic scrawl. It said, "Please don't leave." Suddenly, this didn't feel like a joke anymore. The playful scariness of the abandoned house turned into something genuinely terrifying. This was a real plea for help. Her mind raced. What was happening inside that house? Who wrote these notes? Fear started to creep in, cold and sharp. Her first instinct was to run, to get as far away from that house as possible. But the words on the note echoed in her head. Please don't leave. Someone was counting on her. Taking a deep breath to steady her nerves, Maya made a decision that would change everything. She pulled out her phone and, with trembling fingers, dialed for help. She needed to tell the police what she found. When Officer Grant arrived at the scene, he was, let's say, skeptical. A call from a 12-year-old about a mysterious note on a famously abandoned house. It sounded exactly like the kind of story a kid with a big imagination would cook up. He listened patiently as Maya, her voice shaking slightly, explained what she saw, a sticky note saying "Help me." He asked, a hint of doubt in his voice, and another one on the ground. He looked at the house, then back at Maya. Are you sure it wasn't just your friends playing a prank? Kid, we get calls like this sometimes. Maya insisted it was real. She could feel him dismissing her, and a wave of frustration washed over her. She knew what she saw. She knew it wasn't a joke. She tried to explain the feeling she got, the sense of real danger. But how do you explain a gut feeling to a police officer? Just as Officer Grant was about to tell her to head on home, Maya remembered something else. Something she had barely registered at the time. Wait, she exclaimed, the curtain. When I looked at the first note, the curtain next to it moved. It just shook a little, but there's no wind today. Somebody is in there. I know it. That single detail changed everything. The shaking curtain. It was a tiny observation, but it was concrete. It wasn't just a note, it was a sign of life, a sign of movement inside a house that was supposed to be empty. The skepticism on Officer Grant's face vanished, replaced by a look of serious concern. He immediately radioed for backup. Within minutes, the quiet street was filled with police cars. Officers surrounded the house, taking positions and preparing for whatever they might find inside. The atmosphere was tense. Maya watched from a safe distance, her heart pounding in her chest. Had she done the right thing, or was this all a massive, embarrassing misunderstanding? The police didn't just rush in, they approached the house cautiously, their training taking over. They announced their presence, their voices echoing in the silent afternoon. "This is the police. Come out with your hands up." There was no response, just an eerie silence from the dilapidated building. After a few more moments, they made the call to breach the door. With a loud crash, the front door was forced open, and the officers swarmed inside, moving quickly and professionally from room to room. Maya held her breath, waiting. The seconds felt like hours, and then they found him. In a dark, dusty back room, a man was tied to a chair. He was gagged, and it was clear he had been there for a while. He was disoriented but alive. It was the man who had been reported missing 2 days earlier. He had been kidnapped and was being held for ransom. The police quickly untied him and helped him outside into the fresh air and sunlight. Paramedics arrived and began checking him over. He was dehydrated and shaken, but thankfully he wasn't seriously injured. Once he was able to speak, he told them the incredible story. Trapped in that room, he had found a pad of sticky notes and a pen in his pocket. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble. He managed to scribble the notes and stick one to the window, praying someone would see it. He had thrown the other one out when he saw Maya hesitating, hoping it would be enough to convince her it was real. When he saw her from the window, he had tried to move to signal to her, and in his struggle, he had bumped the curtain, making it shake. It was that small, desperate movement that had made all the difference. He looked over at Maya, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You saved my life," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you." Maya's small act of paying attention, of trusting her instincts and refusing to walk away, had led to a man's rescue. It was an incredible outcome, but what about the person who did this? The story wasn't over just yet. The police knew the kidnapper would likely return to the scene. So, they didn't clear out. Instead, they set up a stack-out, waiting quietly inside the now secured house. They didn't have to wait long. The next morning, just as the sun was rising, a car pulled up. A man got out and walked casually toward the abandoned house, likely coming back to check on his victim. He had no idea that the police were waiting for him. As he stepped through the door, he walked right into an ambush. He was arrested on the spot, his shocking crime brought to an end. This story is a powerful reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. She chose to listen to that little voice inside that said something was wrong. She could have ignored it, but she didn't, and because of that, a man is alive today, and a dangerous criminal is off the streets. It makes you think, doesn't it? How many times do we see little things that are out of place and just brush them off? Next time you get that strange feeling, that gut instinct that something isn't right, maybe think of Maya. You never know when a small act of paying attention could make a world of difference. What do you guys think? Have you ever had a similar experience where your gut feeling turned out to be right? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you found this story as incredible as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more true stories that you won't believe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.